After checking out the tsconfig file in the project root directory, now let us see how the configuration files in the different directories of the project can inherit the settings from the root config file. It is basically helpful in large projects where different sections require different settings. For our demo app, this configuration file, which we have created, will be the base configuration file, the one which remains in the root directory of the project. So first I'll rename this to tsconfig.base.json. Once this is done, I'll manually create the new configuration file in the app directory, which will inherit the settings from the base file. I'll name it tsconfig.json. I'll add the opening and closing curly braces that must surround the options. Now press Ctrl space in Visual Studio Code to see the list of settings which we can specify. The first one I need to use here is the extend setting. It specifies which config file this one extends. Here I'll mention our base file. So the value I'll give here is /tsconfig.base. The JSON file extension is not required here. Now this config file will use all of the options in the base configuration file plus any additional options that we add here. Now here, let's add some compiler options. Here I have added the compiler options section and added the option remove comments and set it to true. This will just give us a simple change by removing the comments so that we can make sure that it is using both the config files correctly. I'll add another option here, include. Here I have used a glob to specify which files should be compiled. Here the dot begins to look in the current directory. 2 asterisks will tell it to search recursively through all the subdirectories, while this asterisk will look for all the files with valid TypeScript file extension. So now in the terminal, we will move to the app directory that contains the inherited config file, and we will type tsc and start the compiler. It is running in the watch mode, which we had specified in our base configuration file. So this implies that our base file is correctly found. Here is the comment that I had mentioned in the main.ts file, which is currently not found in the JS file. Hence, our compiler option from our inherited config file is also being executed. Inherited configuration files are of not much use in small projects like us. However, you should know how it works to work on the large project. Now let us configure Webpack to run the compiler so that we don't have to start it again and again with the tsc command in the terminal.